Good afternoon and welcome to this Radio Times Facebook Live, where we're going to be talking all about last night's first episode of Love Island, and what an episode it was. I'm Frances Taylor, this is Paul Jones. We are both mega super Love Island fans and we are both absolutely hooked already on the antics of all the sexy singletons in the villa. Now, this is a Facebook Live, so if you could send us your questions, your comments, anything you want to say, we'll do our best to get round to as many of them as we can. But we've got to talk about first, obviously, last night's episode. There was so much hype, so much expectation around this because of last year's series and how massive that was. So what did you make, Paul, of episode 1?
Well, I loved it, but you're right. There was so much hype after what was really the breakout series for Love Island last year, that I think you and me both had some worries about, you know, is there going to be that perfect storm again of brilliant casting and timing and grafting? But I mean, from what we've seen from episode 1, I think the characters are all there. I think you spoke to the producers and they kind of gave you an idea of what kind of things they'd said to them, and I don't feel as if people are trying too hard, and the kind of things that we worried about. And I just thought it was a great opening episode. Yeah.
I completely agree. Well, that's the thing, and these shows, especially Love Island, they live and die by the casting. It's all down to that. I mean, the format is there, obviously, but you've got to have fantastic characters. And I really think after last night's show, there were just a couple that we really can see either getting to the final or leaving in the first week. Some a bit fake, some I fell in love with. Yeah, I do think, though, you're right. It is that huge expectation, and the viewing figures spoke for themselves.
Incredible.
Really.
It more than, I mean, it smashed what it launched with, but it got more than double, way more than double what it ended with when the hype was at its highest last season. So, yeah, incredible. And yeah, I think it bodes well, and I think, you know, there was I think what we thought is basically echoed in the viewers that you could see on Twitter and so on. So yeah, I think they've done a good job so far.
Definitely, yes. WhatsApp was certainly blowing up last night with people, you know, already hooked. I know I'm completely addicted already. So we've got to talk about the Islanders and the couples in particular, who we're loving, who we're not loving. So let's start with Kendall and Niall. Now, we've had a question from Abby on Twitter who says, does Kendall really like Harry Potter? This is one of the big questions, I think, from episode 1.
It was the key Kendall and Niall question, wasn't it? Because he's a massive Harry Potter fan, and we know that he really is a massive Harry Potter fan because he's had a wand tattooed on his arm. And I love the fact as well that it's not Harry Potter's wand or Ron's, it's Hermione's. So he's ticking a lot of boxes there. He's a Potter fan. He's potentially a feminist. So it's, you know,
love him already.
We like him already, and I also like Niall because he told us a bit about his backstory, and he's kind of one of those people that maybe grew up with the women not being massively interested in him and didn't get all that attention, and kind of was possibly a little bit insecure. And I think that makes you into maybe a more not a better person, but you know what, a more rounded person, a person that people can relate to more on screen. So I think he's going to go down well. My only worry with Niall is that him and Kendall are together, and like it's been a day, and he's acting, and she is a bit, but as if, you know, this is it now. And I hope he doesn't.
Marriage is definitely on the cards.
Yeah. And there's a slight worry, I think, that it's going to seem too much to her too soon, and he could be shooting himself in the foot a bit.
My thing for him as well is that I was very lucky. I got to go out last week to the villa, meet all the contestants before they went in. And with him, you know, when he left the room, we did really like him, but we thought, blimey, we need a lie down after that. He was 100 miles an hour and he just doesn't stop. He's just constant.
Yeah.
And you think, is that going to get on the nerves of not only the Islanders, but Kendall?
But the nation.
She already sort of was getting a little bit snappy with him last night, I thought. And seeing as they've been coupled up for about 10 minutes, I was a bit, not too sure about that. I should also quickly say about Niall, I do believe he hasn't actually read the Harry Potter books. I think he's just seen the films.
Well, that was, when he said, I'm a Harry Potter fan, what's your favourite film? Immediately I sort of rang a small alarm bell, because it's like, you do know that they are books as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've got to do as well to say hi to Paul Hayes, who's tuned in on Facebook. thanks for watching. We should also go on to our next question. This comes from Gabs on Twitter.
Although we didn't answer the last one. Should we quickly answer the last question?
Does Kendall,
does Kendall like Harry Potter?
No.
So well, I would say no. Her response when asked about that was she didn't have one. She didn't know her favourite film. But we do know in the VT beforehand, before she met Niall, presumably, that she had talked about her love of Harry Potter. So I'm willing to give her the benefit of the doubt. I know a lot of people aren't, but that's my two penneth worth.
Penneth? I don't know.
What is a penneth?
I don't know, but it's 2018. I don't think we use penneths anymore.
We probably don't.
I don't think we do.
But it's all cryptocurrency now.
Showing your age. Right. Let's go to Gabs on Twitter, who says, "Is Laura trying to look like Olivia?"
I mean, that was one of the worries, wasn't it? That you get people going, okay, well, that person went down well. Do I become that person? I don't know if she's trying to.
She's trying to. I think she tied her hair up in a bun and put some glasses on.
An oversized jumper, and that, yeah. A lot of people think she is. I'm going to again reserve judgment. Sorry, sitting on the fence a bit here, aren't I? But trying to be right, fair, yes. Not trying, and some people would say not succeeding anyway. A lot of people said she's not at Olivia's level of Olivia-ness.
But that's only because we know Olivia like we do now.
Yeah.
You know, we saw her over the whole of last summer. You know, she's a fantastic person with such a brilliant personality. I love Olivia.
Yeah, she's
brilliant. We're judging Laura based on one episode, and saying, oh, she's not as good as Olivia. Well, of course she's not going to be. We haven't seen her do anything yet.
No, and this is my point. Let's try not to judge too soon, although it's very difficult not to, and we will.
Absolutely. And I do think as well, what is quite amusing in the official press photos that they took last year of Olivia and this year of Laura, they've made them do exactly the same pose.
The same pose,
the same hair.
Yeah.
I did put the 2x2 so next to each other in an article on radiotimes.com, which you can read. And yeah, it's a bit uncanny. So you kind of feel they know what they're doing with that. They know what they're doing, right? Yeah, they know what they're doing. So also we should really talk about, in fact we're talking about Laura and Wes as a couple. Now, this wasn't sort of a match made in heaven.
No, quite.
I would argue. I mean, especially because we had Dr. Alex, now arguably probably one of the more eligible bachelors. He's an A&E doctor. He's, you know, quite tall. They always say, you know, tall, dark and handsome. He did have blonde hair, but he
wasn't dark enough for some of them. That was a particular point, I think.
And they didn't know he was a doctor when he walked in. But none of the girls stepped forward for him, which was one of the moments, I think, as well.
Yeah, it was a cringe moment, and you're always going to have those cringe moments, and we want the occasional cringe moment, don't we? But, you know, he can bounce back, maybe, can he? I don't know, probably not.
I think, genuinely, he's this year's Camilla. Now, the first week or so of Camilla Thurlow being in Love Island last year, she was very unlucky in love. She was quite different to a lot of the other islanders in there. Some of the boys weren't very interested in her. They couldn't quite figure her out. And then obviously Jamie came in the end, swept her off her feet, and they nearly won the whole thing. And I do think we could see a similar thing with Dr. Alex.
We need a female Jamie.
Yeah.
See, I was worried that he might be this year's Harley, which is also a possibility. Yeah. But no, I hope you're right. He seems like a nice guy so far, and you know, that's the brilliant thing about it, isn't it? Like you said, we get to see these characters develop, and who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? There will be many twists and turns. That's one thing we do know, I think.
There will. And I do think that the producers will probably want to keep him in there as well, because he does add something different. And he has got that interesting profession that we all love to see on Love Island. But yeah, I've got to say, Sarah on Twitter has got in touch with us to say Alex is the fittest bloke in the... I'm reading this as we're doing it. Fittest bloke in there. Well,
See, a lot of the girls would disagree with that, but that's nice. See, this is what I like about love. You know, this is what makes the world go round, is everybody's into something different.
Yeah, it's true, it's true. Variety is the spice of life.
Yeah.
If everybody liked the same sort of person, then the world would be a terrible place. So
yeah, I'm sure there are other people who think like Sarah. Hopefully one of them comes into the villa. Yeah. For Alex's sake.
Yeah. Yeah, the girls are mad also, she's added, and I completely agree. Why they didn't step forward for him, not one of them out of 5 girls stepped forward for him, is absolutely bonkers. Yeah. But just quickly, coming back again, Laura ended up with Wes because she did get paired with Alex because he had then his pick of the girls. He chose Laura. They were stood together for about 3 seconds. Then Wes came in, Laura stepped forward, and I think she was the only girl, I think, to step forward, which was really muggy, seeing as there were a lot of single girls there, and she was one of the ones who was actually coupled up, and she was the only one to say, oh, I want to go with him.
I can't remember, did she step forward immediately, or did she look around and see that nobody else had? I'm just trying to, you know... You're
trying to be fair to Laura. Yeah,
I think she stepped forward straight away. Well, a small pause.
A microscopic pause. Yeah. So, no, but I don't see them doing very well, Laura and Wes, mainly because she was standing with Wes quite happily, and then Adam walked in. Yeah,
but when Adam walked in, I mean, everyone nearly fainted, right?
Yeah, girls and boys.
Girls, boys, of whatever your sexuality or proclivity, I think there was a national intake of breath.
He looked like he'd been grown in a lab of fit men. It was bizarre, yeah. It was really telling why they kept him till last. But what I thought was so funny was that they were really at pains to point out this is a massive shock bombshell. They're all coupled up, and now we're bringing in an 11th Islander.
No, it's not. It's Love Island.
No, first of all, I mean, like, expect the unexpected. But second of all, this is what they did last year. So I watched it back to check it was identical, and it is. So last year we had all the couples coupling up. Weirdly, Amber was with Harley, if you can believe that, on day one. And I think Camilla was with Sam. Geordie Sam?
Yes, she was. That's
couples of Love Island
a
past.
match made in hell, though, isn't
it? It was. Strange. But anyway, they were all coupled up. And then Jess came in, again, as this huge bombshell. And all the drawers hit the floor. She was absolutely stunning. And it was exactly the same that they've done this year. She's got 24 hours, nick a man.
I'm not tired of it yet.
No, I'm definitely not tired of it. I think it's just funny.
It's a great twist. No, it's not a twist in the sense that you've never seen it before.
Yeah.
But it was a great cliffhanger, wasn't it?
It was.
Now who's Adam going to choose? Bye, see you tomorrow. And you will see us tomorrow for that reason, if not for no other. It's good TV making.
I completely agree. Well, also, we've got to move on then.
Yes.
Couples-wise, for Hayley and I'm going to get this wrong.
Yeah, go on, you say this.
Eyal? Eel?
I felt like...
I'm struggling.
Yeah,
I
felt like when he said it was almost you missed the E off and just went Jarl, like, how y'all doing?
Yeah. I think he sort of said it like Eyal, but then everyone called him
We can't
Eel.
even hear it the same.
Yeah, exactly.
One thing I did notice, though, I don't know if this is telling, if this will mean anything, but all the letters of Eyal's name are in the name Hayley.
Well, if that doesn't say true love, I don't know what does. That is Detective Paul finding out the real nub of the question, whose names fits in whose. But that is, maybe that does mean they'll be together forever.
Maybe that's all we need to say about them.
Maybe it is.
Yeah. No, so he's a kind of I remember one bit with him where he said. I'm not a typical model, and then he started going on about spirituality and so on. I was like, "You're literally Hansel from Zoolander."
Yeah, it was so cheesy. I feel like I saw right through it. And again, from meeting him before he went in, he kind of left and we thought, he was a bit pretentious. He just was.
Yeah.
He was really at pains to go, I'm so spiritual, guys, I'm so spiritual. And we weren't really buying it, to be honest. And I don't know if the girls
It's the hair that seemed to have worked for everybody on him, actually. They just loved the hair.
Yeah, and I think, again, actually, this was quite funny. In his going into the Villa interview, he said, I'd like people to think I'm more than my hair.
Well, shave it off then.
Well, yeah, true.
Put your money where your mouth is. Maybe there'll be a task where he has to do that. I mean, that would really...
Unmissable telly.
Say what level he's on.
So if you're just joining us as well, this is a Facebook Live, so do keep your comments and questions coming. We're getting some fantastic ones. The latest from James on Twitter.
That's good, yeah.
How deep, and the inverted commas are important there, is Eyal?
Not as deep as he thinks he is sort of what I would say. No way near as deep as he thinks he is.
It's like he found himself on a beach in Bali 5 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. He's done a bit of travelling, but I think that might be it, really.
It's not enough to make you interesting.
No.
I just find him really dull
already.
I'm going full out with this one.
But the hair, Francis.
I know the hair. I do kind of love the hair, but
yeah, it's not a personality though.
No,
is it?
It's not. And I think there are some boys in there with really great personalities, and he's just not one of them.
No,
he's
fair enough.
Not.
Fair enough. You've made your pronouncement.
Yeah.
Who's up next?
One of my favourite couples, Danny and Alex.
Danny and Jack.
Danny and Jack, so not my favourite couple because I can't even get the names right. I always think that Jack looks like an Alex though, and I keep calling him Alex. He's just got one of those faces that looks like anyone. Okay, Danny and Jack, they are one of my favourite couples.
Me too. I like both
Okay.
elements of the Danny and Jack couple. Danny's brilliant. She is, I mean, it's weird because she was like probably the most trailed non-celebrity person to a reality TV show, do you think?
Yeah.
She's been trailed since she kind of had to leave Survival of the Fittest, which was kind of the winter answer to Love Island, wasn't it, when she got
Still
injured?
don't know if that's coming back or not, by the way. ITV haven't said anything about
Oh,
Survival
really?
of the Fittest
Okay.
coming back, so I'll have to wait and see for that.
But yeah, so we've known basically that she was going to be in it, and since then, and the fact that she's got this famous dad, her dad is Danny Dyer. Sorry, spoilers.
She doesn't like to go on about it.
No, well, I actually think the way she dealt with it was fine. It wasn't a kind of like Marcel trying to get it into conversation however he could and making it look like, well, I just had, that just came out.
It was a bit like that, though, when she sat down and went, I'm an actor, and I should just say this now.
Well, no, but she's sort of like, well, let's get this out there because it's going to, I think, that's how I saw it anyway. So, because it's, you can't, it's going to come out, right?
Yeah, it is, but only if she says it. Although I did think as well, it was quite funny when I think it was Adam again came in, he had the pick of the girls, and he was doing it a bit like Blind Date, where he said, I like number 5, and then he said, and I like Danny, I mean number 2, kind of thing. And he clearly knew who she was when he was standing there.
Well, he watched Survival of the, is it called Survival of the Fittest?
It was Survival of the Fittest,
he watched that. But no, she actually just seems really down to earth to me, and just like a nice person, and that will probably be proved completely wrong. She'll probably be evil, but so far I really like her. Yeah,
I love her.
Seems really genuine, and Jack seems really genuine as well, except for his teeth.
Yeah, they are not
They're
real.
not genuine.
No,
they are,
no.
I mean, I know I wasn't the only person to point this out, obviously, but it is like, it reminds you of a certain episode of Friends when Ross has his teeth whitened. And it's
sunglasses. It's
full on, yeah.
It is full on. But what I like about him as well is that he's a normal-ish guy with a normal-ish job.
Sells pens.
Sells pens. He's a stationery manager. I think he said that more than Danny said, my dad's Danny Dyer, but still, I really loved him.
I think he was trying to, he's trying to get it out there and like be self-deprecating almost, and kind of like before anybody else, and what's wrong with that as a job?
Yeah.
It's like completely,
Absolutely.
I was using a pen just 15 minutes ago.
There you go. He's in demand.
Yeah.
I do think, though, he could be the new Kem for me this year. He's got that kind of cheeky chappy. He's not the one that's sculpted from the gods like some of them are. And I just think...
Don't let Kem hear you say that.
No, sorry, Kem. But again, from meeting them at the time.
Yeah.
I do think Jack could be one to go the distance, possibly Danny as well, just because, again, as you say, she's really likeable. She had some really great quotes as well last night, saying about getting into bed and saying, it's going to be a PG, or maybe even a U.
Yeah.
See? I can see that on a T-shirt already.
So Disney animals jumping around the duvet and stuff,
Yeah.
Cool, but so we like them, right? They're great.
Yeah.
And then finally it's Samira and Alex, and I mean, they're a couple in name, but
that's only.
Yeah.
It was just like a really bad date watching them, like a really bad first date. They sort of walked in, neither of them liked each other, they just sort of had to get on with it. And yeah, there was a bit of camaraderie there between them, I think, where they both felt like they hadn't been picked, because she stepped forward for a few boys and they didn't pick her. Obviously, Alex didn't get picked either. But, I mean, I don't think true love is going to blossom between them.
No, probably not,
sadly.
especially because, and this is the thing that is going to, throw all this stuff in the air, Adam.
Bum, bum, bum.
Who we mentioned earlier, but like he's now got to make that choice. And did we do a poll about this? Did we get a result on that?
We did. The results are ongoing. We will come to you at the end with our results of who is Adam.
Find out who you think Adam's going to Nick. And I've got an idea of my own, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, it's hard to tell from how they edit it as well, though, because you sort of see him kind of talking to everybody.
If it seems obvious to me, then that means it's not that, and they've tricked me, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah. Should we do a question?
We should do a question.
Okay, so John asks, Rihanna on Twitter, is Adam really only 22?
I mean, he might have a showbiz age. He might be telling us all he's 22 and actually he's a lot older, because I couldn't believe that either. He is a personal trainer, so, 9 to 5, he is
also
in the gym and
very
all that
beardy,
kind of stuff. But
kind of.
Yeah, I was very rugged.
Yeah.
I think I'm getting hot in here, but it's because the air conditioning.
if he's that rugged at 22, though, imagine what he'll be like at 25. I mean, do you get more rugged? I don't know. Actually, and I haven't got more rugged. I've kind of started to
rugged?
Sag. Yeah. So.
I know what you mean, though. A lot of people were asking that, and it's true that he just seemed, and actually his attitude, he seemed quite mature as well.
Yeah.
There's a bit of a range of ages in there. Like Laura's 29 on sort of one end. I think there's a few 20, 21-year-olds in there as well. But it's funny how you kind of forget about their age when they get in there. Like Marcel last year, he was actually 30, and he didn't really come across like that. He just seemed like the 21-year-old.
No. I mean, then again, he was the person that everyone went to with their problems, and he supposedly solved the problems. So he was, he's maybe a bit more mature. But yeah, I agree. Actually, it's hard to believe that Adam is only 22, for not just because of what he looks like, but because how he comes across.
Mature head.
What's Camilla's boyfriend's name?
Jamie Jewett.
So Jamie, even though he's
really similar, actually.
He's not. It reminds me a little bit of him, and it's not a similar character as such, but he's got a similar kind of self-confidence, I think.
Yeah, he's assured,
not out
exactly.
Sort of in himself.
I completely agree. So we've got another one as well. John asks, do Love Island's amazing ratings prove young people still watch live TV? This is a really interesting question, because I think yes,
they do.
If you put the right thing on.
Yeah, completely.
That's what it comes down to. There's so much written about and talked about how young people these days aren't watching what we call linear television, as in sitting down at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock to watch proper telly. And the 16 to 34 demographic that are tuning into Love Island is huge.
It was, I forget the precise number, but it was a really large part of it, wasn't it? It was absolutely massive. And also what I thought was interesting from various things that we looked into, there were another 400,000 or 500,000 watching on the ITV hub, so we're told. And, you know, as far as they're concerned, all right, they're not watching it on TV, but that is live, that is watching it live, isn't it? It's the same, it's another place to watch the thing that's going out right now that everybody else is watching and talking about on Twitter. So that, I think that's another point, though, isn't it? That when social media gets involved with a TV show, then immediately you kind of have to, or you want to watch it live because you want to be part of the conversation, yeah.
But it's so interesting that in, you know, today's day and age with the advances in TV and technology, it's all about streaming and Netflix and watching things when you want to watch them. And this is completely going against that and making sure young people who, you know, often are out at 9 o'clock on a Friday night or any night of the week are saying, we've got to scrap our plans, we've got to get in for 9 and then talk about it tomorrow, because you don't want to miss out on that conversation. I think it's, really interesting that they're actually proving young people still do watch proper telly, not just YouTube. So, what else are we talking about? We talked about Adam and his shock entrance. We're going to go back to that to talk about the poll. So we asked on radiotimes.com. This is still ongoing, so do get on there to have your say.
Keep voting if you don't agree with this.
We've got all 5 girls for who he's going to steal. Now, this was the cliffhanger at the end of last night's episode. Now, I have to just say about having a cliffhanger on Love Island.
It's brilliant.
I disagree. This is not 24. It's not Breaking Bad. I don't want a cliffhanger at the end of my Love Island. And I don't think they really did this last year. I think it was more self-contained, little bit like Big Brother.
Oh, I don't know. I think there were a few where you were going to couple up. Or maybe that was between the ads. I'm not sure. Maybe it was more between the ads. But I don't know. They can't do it to me all the time, but for the launch show, with what they had, with the cliffhanger they had, I think that was a genius move, and I don't really resent it very much.
I do a little bit.
So if it was 24, and back in the old days when you did cliffhangers and everything wasn't dropped at once on a streaming service, you had to wait a week. Now, if you had to wait a week, I would be up in arms. But
taken to the streets, getting a poll going
that'll be exactly, But actually, I know I got to wait 24 hours. Go to work, that occupies some of your time, do a little video and stuff. And then
get on to the real business.
Get home 9 o'clock, watch the next Love Island. So it's it's not too bad, is it?
No, I agree, and it's not really the time scale that I sort of take umbrage with. I think it's more that we're going to keep coming back night after night. We're going to be there at 9 o'clock no matter what. We don't really need that hook to try and draw us in. We don't need to be tricked into coming back to Love Island. I don't think, and so it was a little bit mean. And I've got no idea who he goes for yet. Often we get little updates throughout the day, but I've got no hint. Don't know what's going to happen. But in our poll,
do you have before we look at the poll? Do you have a?
Sorry, I just banged the microphone. I'm getting overexcited.
Yeah, well, this is what Adam does to people.
Still getting hotter. I think. See, I kind of want to see him go for Laura, for both their sakes, because I think that they're quite well matched, but I also think it will just make fantastic TV. So that's who I want to see. How about you?
That's who I would like to see, yes. I worry that he might go for Danny and split up the Danny and Jack
That'd be so sad.
situation, but I think maybe that's what they were leading us to believe, which means it won't be true.
Yeah, it might be going up a garden path.
But our survey says.
Our survey says, yeah. So in
do it
fifth place,
reverse order,
we are doing this in reverse, like we're on
course
Britain's
we
Got
are.
Talent. Yeah, we've got to start at the bottom. So Samira, just 2.28% of people think he's going to choose Samira, which is a bit sad for Samira because she obviously is not that happy with Alex and she really wants to be picked by him.
Yeah.
So let's hope we're all wrong with that. Hayley is second, so she's number 4 with 5.92% of the vote. We've then got
Healthy.
Kendall, 7.06%.
Yeah, he did show quite an interest in her.
He did, yeah. They had that chat by sort of the sun deck thing where poor
Yeah.
Niall was. Niall talked about Adam more than anyone else, I think, in the
Yeah,
villa.
he
Ads
did.
McGee, which I just was my favourite quote.
The
from
bit
first episode.
where I felt a bit bad was where he said, "Oh, it's all right if I go and have a chat," and he was like, "Yeah, fine." And he just looked at him and he was like, "Oh right, sorry," and he got up off the sunbed so he could get on the same sunbed.
Just coming back to that point really quickly, we'll come back to the poll, but I've got to say about Wes going to prize Laura away from Adam, saying, "Oh, can we just have a chat?" Obviously they're in a couple, Wes and Laura, and she was like, "Do I have to?"
Yeah, it's not a good sign,
not a
is
good
it?
start.
Anyway,
So then
the
in
poll.
second place in the poll, we have Laura with 27.7% of the vote. So she might go for her. Or number 1, Adam
it's a landslide.
will be picking Danny according to 56.95% of viewers. So
that's what I
again, be
worry
so
about.
sad. Oh, please don't. Anyway, we've got a last question now for today from Jonathan. When is the Christmas issue out? I mean, I'm really hot and it's Love Island is starting.
It's the height of summer.
It's the height of summer.
But it's usually early December. Usually early December. Nationwide, about 10 days into December usually, but don't quote me on that.
Go to your newsagents and start pestering them now.
Yeah, maybe we'll bring it out in autumn.
Yeah,
we won't do that.
Anyway, that's it for us for today, but thank you so much for watching and for sending so many amazing comments. I'm sure we'll be back very, very soon to talk more about Love Island.
See you soon.